For generations, Bulgaria has been known for its production of rose oil and rose products. It is a world leader because Bulgarian roses are famous for their high-quality essential oil. In this documentary, we will immerse ourselves in the magical world of the Rose Valley, introduce you to some of the rose oil makers, and follow every step from the gentle cultivation of roses to the extraction of aromatic oils. The Rose Valley, or Kazanlak Valley, is located in the middle part of Bulgaria, near the towns of Kazanlak and Karlovo. It is located in the central Balkan Ridge and is known for its vast field of roses, which stretches over about 3,000 square kilometers. It is one of the largest and most famous rose-growing areas in the world. About 3 centuries ago, the oil-bearing rose Damascus was brought from the Middle East. Since the 17th century, Bulgaria has established itself as one of the main producers of rose oil. Today, it produces over 1 ton of rose oil annually. Bulgaria produces 70% of the world's rose oil, making the country the largest producer of rose oil. It's 6:30 in the morning, and we are at the rose field together with Rosica, who is responsible for the roses picking process.
The field we are located is 196 acres. Every day, the yield is different because it all depends on the weather and temperature. The most convenient period for picking the rose was the beginning of May. But in recent years, due to climate change, the picking has shifted to the end of May, sometimes even the beginning of June. And as a picking time, it is good to start at 5 in the morning. The air temperature to be above 15 degrees Celsius, because if it is lower, the rose cannot bloom. It happened that we came to the field and the weather was rainy. Then there was no rose picking because the roses did not bloom. For example, I will show you. This is a rose that will bloom tomorrow. But if the weather worsens and there is no sun, it cannot blossom. Hand picking begins early in the morning around 5 o'clock, so better oil performance and quality yield are obtained. This rose is called Damascena, which is only used for rose oil. There is another variety called Raduga, which is mainly used to produce rose water, which is red in color, while this one is entirely pink. The importance of the rose is in the Karlovo region. Everyone associates Karlovo with the rose.
The collected roses are taken to Rosica for inspection. Each sack is weighed, and its weight should not exceed 12 kilograms. If it is heavier, there is a risk that the roses in it will spoil. Rositsa distributes the heavier sacks by pouring the roses into a new one until they reach the desired weight. The full sacks are loaded and taken to the rose distillery before noon. Before loading the pot stills with fresh roses, they are cleaned from the previous batch. Finally, the bags with freshly picked rose leaves are poured into the pot stills, where, through a distillation process, the oil is extracted from them. To find out more about the rose oil production process, we meet with Alexei. This rose distillery, compared to others, is medium in size, with a processing capacity of about 16 tons of rose blossom per day. And the amount of rose oil or rose water produced depends on the quality of the raw material. The amount is different every day. The quality is determined at the end, according to the amount of rose oil or water obtained and how saturated it is. Initially, quality is determined by taste and smell, and at the end of the production campaign, laboratory tests are made, which are necessary for a certificate for our customers. The process is long, in which we boil several cauldrons one after another, during which time the rose concentrate is distilled at the other end of the installation. The system works in a continuous mode, and on a certain amount of processed rose blossom, the oil is drained. Or, if the amount is too small, then it is drained at the end of the day. Rose oil is a yellow, concentrated, oily liquid with a strong roses aroma, while rose water is 99% water. It also contains rose oil, but also many other microelements that are good for the skin. They are also used in medicine, cooking, and even to flavor drinks. From 1 ton of rose blossom, we can get approximately 1 ton of rose water. And for the production of 1 ton of rose oil, approximately 3.5 tons of rose blossom are needed. It is extremely important that the roses are freshly picked on the same day, because its shelf life is about 16 hours, and then the fermentation process begins, which also reduces the quality of the oil. The rose blossom picked in the morning is processed on the same day.